Játéktípeletér ma időskízünk initially Billigan Bashastin, Kinglachini Dashe, Billigan Dashanale. Welcome back to Res Ball as we get into Duke guard Tyrese Proctor. If you remember last draft, I really argued for Tyrese Proctor as a top 10 pick just because I saw the shooting come around, saw him really take care of the ball and just show that he's definitely an NBA point guard. Not a lot has changed for me, as you will see. So let's get into Tyrese Proctor right about now. Tyrese Proctor is from Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. Different career. Like when you grow up overseas, obviously it's going to be different. In Australia, it works a couple different ways. So Tyrese Proctor started in a junior basketball for the Sutherland Sharks there in Australia. Also played for the New South Wales team, which is basically like his regional school area type of thing, and national championships. In 2018, in the U18 New South Wales national team, scored 18.6 points per game and had 3.1 assists. Also is a member of the 2021 NBA Global Academy in Canberra there in Australia as well. And a couple other things to highlight for Tyrese Proctor is February 2021. Tyrese Proctor was selected to the FIBA Australian team, like not the junior team, not the under 21 or whatever, the actual like grown man senior FIBA Australian team at the age of 16. Kid can hoop. As I've argued before, like the 3-point shot and the ability to make plays and take care of the ball has just always seemed to show out no matter where he's been. And Tyrese Proctor was also a member of the 2022 FIBA Asia Cup Australian team that won the gold medal. Last but not least, Tyrese Proctor's dad, Roderick Proctor, played ball at Mississippi College, and he also played ball for the Sydney Kings there in Australia. So Tyrese's pops gave him some tips and some other things there to help him along the way. At this last season at Duke, Tyrese Proctor scored 12.4 points per game, had 3 rebounds per game, 2.2 assists, 0.8 steals per game, 0.1 blocks per game, and 1.1 turnovers per game. Shooting splits for Tyrese Proctor were 52.4% from 2-point range, 40.5% from 3-point range, and then 68% from the free throw line. All of this translated into a true shooting percentage of 58.7%, career high across 3 years at Duke. I mean, the 3-point shot stands out number one. In the 3 seasons that Tyrese Proctor has been at Duke, that's been his main role as a floor spacer. 48.7% 3-point attempt rate as a freshman, 58.1% free 3-point attempt rate as a sophomore, and then 60.3% 3-point attempt rate as a junior. You saw him fall into that role more. You saw him get better, and you saw his true shooting percentage get better and better as the years went along. 50.4% true shooting as a freshman, 54.5% true shooting as a sophomore, and then that career high 58.7% true shooting percentage as a junior. So fantastic career, got better and better. And really you saw this year with the Cooper flag, the Konkanipol, the Common Malawach. You've heard me already make the argument that those 3 so stellar. That's the reason why this Duke team made the run they did in the NCAA tournament. But Tyrese Proctor was the absolute stabilizing force of the team. And I know Konkanipol was like the second leading scorer, but I really feel like if Cooper didn't have it going, like Tyrese really steered the ship and got it going and calmed everybody down. Also, I think this year, some of the like assist numbers look funky. Freshman and sophomore year, Tyrese Proctor had an assist rate of 20% or better. But then this season, as a junior, the assist rate went down to 12.9%. Like, people are going to look at that and be like, no, if he's a point guard, it's like, number one, he had to sacrifice usage to, Cooper flag and then Konkanipol. And then, not to mention, we have transfers that came in like a Zion James, who's gotten more draft buzz and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, he knew like, okay, I have to take a step back, find my role, use it more as a 3-point shooter and the supplementary playmaker, which helped lead to more team success. And in that role, as more of these quote unquote supplementary playmaker, 85 assists to 40 turnovers. So over 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. And really that has been why I continue to highlight that he takes care of the ball. That's always been a part of Tyrese Proctor's game. Maybe the best example for me this year of point guards are born, they're not made. As a freshman, like game came in of like, I don't know. I know he wants to shoot, but the percentage wasn't great. Like, oof, I don't know if he can get to the rim or do much of anything else because he's not physical enough or big enough. But you know what he did do is have 119 assists to 58 turnovers. And then as a sophomore, the offense got better. He shot over 50% from two, just over 35% from three, 118 assists to 40 turnovers. And then the final season here, 185 assists to 40 turnovers. The turnovers stayed pat. I really wish he just had one less turnover so I could say, like, hey, look, the turnovers went down every year. But you know how hard it is to maintain that low level of turnovers? The only reason you're able to maintain 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio every year and have a super duper low turnover rate is because you are a playmaker second to none. It's one thing to be able to see the pass. It's another to have the discernment to know that's one I should make. That's one I should not make. You've heard me say that with so many other guys. They're like, dude, you got to chill out type of passer. I've argued for so many dudes like that that are going to go ahead of Tyrese Proctor. But Tyrese Proctor's like securely in the middle of round one to the end of round one. If for nothing else, I mean, obviously the shooting is going to get him there by itself. But the other thing is being able to pass and take care of the ball like an NBA veteran already. And I ended up putting Tyrese Proctor like towards the end of round one again at 23. I mean, if you're really not sold on anybody from 11 to 14, then yeah, this is the guy that you want to put in there because you're like, you know what? The physicality to stuff seemed to be a big detriment that first year. And it was like, oof, I don't know if he is going to be anything other than the shooter, but then these last two seasons, Tyrese Proctor has shot 52.4% or 52%, excuse me, 52% or better from 2-point range with the 3-point shot getting a whole lot better. So it's like, you know what? You can see a world in which this is a dude that gets a little bit better inside the 2-point arc. And I know the free throw percentage went down this year to 68%. That's something that honestly, like, I don't have any excuse for. I don't have, mm, I don't know. I don't have any explanation for it. It's something to get him in for workouts, get him isolated, do whatever you can to try and put him in a situation where he's uncomfortable and you have to put him at the free throw line just to get an idea of like, is this more a mental thing? How's he been addressing and working on it? Just to get an idea, because that is the one concern I really do have for Tyrese Proctor is, what's going on with the free throw percentage? Because even when you break it down in the conference stuff, Tyrese Proctor's free throw percentage went up to 73%. But again, that's not like fantastic. And for how well he shoots it from three, even as a freshman at 32%, I was like, I mean, he's getting up a pretty good volume, like 147 threes as a freshman at Duke. 32%, that to me indicated that, yeah, sure, he's going to shoot really well. And why I argued for him last year was like, once you eliminated those non-conference games and got into the later parts of the year, like he shot the lights out, man. And then for this year, he shot the lights out all year with the teammates he had, NBA guys. And you're like, okay, that's the exact role that you can see. But I don't know about the free throw percentage, man. 87.1% as a freshman, 75.5% as a sophomore, and then 68% as a junior. That ain't gonna cut it, man. Whatever you can do to address that and get some answers out of Tyrese about why that free throw percentage is so bad. And again, for me, it's inexcusable for any guard with NBA aspirations to shoot under 70% from the free throw line. And it's even more inexcusable when you are this great of a 3-point shooter. So just think about that too. If he shot even like 75% again at the free throw line, we're talking like near 60% true shooting percentage guy. The size also does help out a lot. Tyrese Proctor at the combine measured in at 6'4" and a quarter inch without shoes. So we're looking at 6'5" ish, 183.2 pounds with a 6'7" and a quarter inch wingspan. So it's like a plus 3-inch wingspan, 183 pounds, around 6'5". Great measurables for a guy that you're looking at point guard to shoot and to take care of the ball. Look at the shot chart for a Tyrese Proctor. It's nearing the draft. It's our final 3 days. So really with these last three guys, I want to put them more in contention with the guys that are listed ahead of them normally and guys that are listed behind them. So if you're not watching this on YouTube, I have Tyrese Proctor's shot chart next to Jace Richardson and Cam Jones. significantly better in the mid-range than a Cam Jones, significantly better than Jace Richardson in the mid-range, and took more threes than anybody out of here. 181 total threes for Tyrese Proctor on above the break threes, 75 of 181, 41.4%, shooting lights out there. From the corners, 14 of 39, not so great, 35.9%. Maybe somebody in the NBA is going to be more of a corner three-point shooter, but normally when there is this like floor spacing guard, they don't necessarily camp out on the corners all the time. So that's the one I'm like, with how well he shoots above the break, and we've seen the shooting progression, I'm like, I'm sure he'll be fine in the NBA if you park him in the corners. 19 of 34 in the mid-range, 55.9%. But let's look into those medium zones to see how that breaks down. And this is one of the ones where you're like, you know what? It's not a lot of shots, but it's still like, okay, at least they're good numbers. 8 of 12 from left baseline, 66.7%. 5 of 7 from right baseline, 71.4%. 3 of 7 from left elbow, 42.9%. And then the worst quote unquote part in the mid range for Tyrese Proctor was from the right elbow, 3 of 8, 37.5%. Again, these are small sample size, so take it or leave it. Another Daryl Morey special guy where really he's just shooting threes and trying to get to the rim. The hard part to argue for is the getting to the rim part. 18 to 45 in the paint, which is 40%. Ain't gonna cut it, man. And then 59.1% at the rim, 39 of 66 shots. Again, ain't gonna cut it. Is a little quick, not necessarily super fast run by you. Probably somebody that does need a ball screen in order to get more clearance and get there. And then in terms of generating free throws, not really there either. Freshman year was his highest year generating free throws at 23.2%. Sophomore year went down to 17.3%. And then this year, his free throw attempt rate was 20.5%. So it's really not something that's in the bag a lot. But again, when you're looking at a guy where you're like, okay, we're out of the lottery, we reached that talent gap where it's like, okay, now we're just looking for role players. 23 is where I put Tyrese Proctor, because at that point, that is the thing of like, are we really looking for dudes that are the complete package here? Absolutely not. You know who this reminds me a lot of is Peyton Pritchard. Different body type, but the role is going to be the same. This dude takes care of the ball. He's a consummate point guard. I don't know about on defense, like necessarily what he's going to be. Tyrese at least has the size, the height, and the wingspan that a Peyton Pritchard doesn't have. Might get pushed around a little bit, but again, Peyton Pritchard he ain't cooking anybody on defense. He ain't exactly locking anybody down. But you know what he is doing is lighting it up from three and just getting some buckets. And again, the percentage for a Tyrese Proctor got better every year inside the 2-point arc, 52.4%. Even though we look at these numbers and they're not so great in the paint and at the rim, like he has enough of a varied attack inside the 2-point arc, 34 shots from mid-range, 45 at the paint, 66 at the rim. Those are the right combination of numbers where like, yes, he can do some mid-range stuff and connect on those when he does do it. He's okay at the paint stuff. Runner floater needs to get better. And the shot he gets the most in 2-point range is at the rim. So he's still doing something right getting there. He's just got to be better at finishing it or getting some N1s. But again, you ain't calling on Peyton Pritchard. You ain't calling on these guys that are point guards that you draft at the end of round one to be like, we need you to get buckets. And if you do, they end up being something like Jalen Brunson and better than you think. So I really do buy into Tyrese Proctor at the end of round one as a Peyton Pritchard type, takes care of the ball like no other supplementarian guy. And I think at the size 2, 6'5"-ish, 183, 6'7" and a quarter wingspan, he can play either guard spot. And this is what this last year proved more than anything, and why Tyrese Proctor definitely needs to leave now. Playing with the Cooper flag, playing with the Conca nipple is like he could be technically the shooting guard next to a jumbo ball handler and playmaker like he was with Coop. And he can play off of a Conca nipple while still being the setup man, point guard, quote unquote, with how he takes care of the ball. The assist numbers and the percentages might not be great, but you turn on the film, you let him run a second unit and set things up, and you're going to be happy. Last thing I want to highlight, I cannot stress enough how well Tyrese Proctor takes care of the ball. 14.7% turnover rate as a freshman. 11.5% turnover rate as a sophomore, and then 9.1% as a junior. That's the kind of progression that you want to see while also maintaining 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio regardless of the role. Some things to look at for Tyrese Proctor on YouTube. College Basketball Scouting has a nice 8-minute video on Tyrese Proctor, NBA Draft Scouting highlights. ACC Digital Network put out a bunch of great things, including the 2025 NBA Draft tape on Tyrese Proctor. Ciro Aseo put out Who is Tyrese Proctor? Defensive Shake Milton, they say. So definitely check that out. My guys over at Upside Swings, I haven't talked about them enough here. They did a nice thing about 7 days ago, about a week ago. NBA Draft Elijah Martin versus Max Shulga versus Tyrese Proctor scouting reports. One of those guys is going to come up in our next episode. So great minds think alike. Definitely check that out. It's 51 minutes, 32 seconds, but definitely worth looking at. And then the last two, again, another interview by Ciro Aseo at the NBA Draft Combine this year with Tyrese Proctor. Go check that out. And then the final thing is from Sleepers Media, Tyrese Proctor scouting report. Go check that out from Sleepers Media. So at the end of round one, people are always looking for this veteran point guard type. Taking care of the ball, shoots threes, and can play the guard spot alongside anybody. Buy into Tyrese Proctor in round one. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to us. We'll catch you next time with one of those guards we're talking about. I'll go next.